Welcome to Healthy Aging Bites, your trusted companion for living longer, feeling stronger, and aging on your own terms. Today, we're diving into a topic that's incredibly important, but too often overlooked in the daily diets of older adults. Are all types of fish really healthy for people over 60? A familiar fish, a silent threat. George's story. George, 74, lives with his wife in a quiet town in Ohio. A retired engineer, he's always prided himself on living a balanced lifestyle. Twice a week, like clockwork, he enjoys fish for dinner sometimes, grilled king mackerel, other times fresh tuna sashimi. To him, it's brain food and heart-healthy protein. But slowly, things began to change. At first, he started misplacing his glasses. Then he forgot doctor appointments and his granddaughter's name. Eventually, his hands began to tremble, so much so, he couldn't pour water into the kettle without spilling. After a series of medical tests, his doctors reached a diagnosis: chronic mercury poisoning, a condition linked to long-term consumption of fish with high mercury levels. A hidden health crisis among older Americans. In the U.S., especially within the senior community, fish is often hailed as a superfood, low in fat, high in protein, rich in omega-3s. It sounds like the perfect food for aging, well, right? And yes, many kinds of fish are excellent for your health, particularly when it comes to protecting your heart and maintaining brain function. But here's the part few people talk about. Some types of fish, especially large predators, or those farm-raised in poor conditions, carry dangerous levels of toxins. And for older adults who often have slower liver and kidney function, the impact can be much more severe. The scariest part? These harmful fish are often the most common ones served in home kitchens, restaurants, and potlucks across America today. Why you need to know this right now? As we age, our bodies lose their ability to filter out toxins like they once could. That means what you eat today, even just a small serving of fish, can quietly build up in your system and affect your health months or even years down the line. The symptoms? They may seem minor at first: tiredness, shaky hands, occasional forgetfulness. But they can evolve into more serious conditions like cognitive decline, worsening arthritis, irregular heart rhythms, all from a fish you thought was helping you stay healthy. Some might say, "I've eaten fish my whole life, it never hurt me. I only have it once in a while. It can't be that bad." But the science tells a different story. Even small amounts of mercury, PCBs, or harmful bacteria can have serious effects when they build up in an aging body. And that's exactly why you need to know which fish to avoid and what to eat instead. Because there are safer, smarter, and still delicious alternatives out there. This video is not about fear, it's about empowerment. We're not here to scare you. We're here to help you understand, choose wisely, and live better. In today's video, you'll discover the 6 types of fish seniors should avoid, why they're especially risky after age 60, what to eat instead, safer, nutrient-rich options, and most importantly, how to make confident, informed food choices for yourself and your loved ones. Before we begin, if today's topic resonates with you or could help someone you love, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, family, or church group, and subscribe to Healthy Aging Bites to never miss a new episode full of real, practical advice on senior nutrition, healthy living, and joyful aging. Every little action helps us bring this life-changing information to even more older adults across the country. Ready to learn? Let's begin. Let's take a closer look at the first fish on our list. King mackerel, the silent health hazard hiding in a flavorful meal. And remember, what you learn today could add years of clarity, strength, and vitality to your life. 1. King mackerel, the silent saboteur of senior health. George, the 74-year-old we met earlier, believed he was doing everything right. Grilled fish twice a week, lean protein, rich in omega-3s, sounded like a textbook heart-healthy diet. But unfortunately, not all fish are created equal, and king mackerel is one of the most deceptive. King mackerel, high in flavor, higher in mercury. King mackerel is a large, oily fish commonly found in warm waters. It's known for its bold flavor and thick, steak-like texture. You'll often find it served grilled or smoked at backyard BBQs or seafood shacks across the South. But what most people don't realize is this. King mackerel contains one of the highest levels of mercury of any fish sold in the U.S. Mercury is a heavy metal toxin that accumulates in the flesh of predatory fish, and while younger, healthy bodies may tolerate small amounts of mercury without showing symptoms, seniors are far more vulnerable. How mercury affects older adults. After age 60, the body slows down. Your kidneys and liver aren't as efficient at filtering toxins, and your immune system no longer responds as quickly to stress. That makes mercury a serious concern. In seniors, long-term exposure to mercury can cause memory loss, tremors or shakiness, mood changes or depression, nerve pain or numbness, increased risk of heart arrhythmias. And because the symptoms of mercury poisoning mimic common aging issues, many cases go unnoticed or misdiagnosed until the damage is done. The confusion trap. Atlantic versus king mackerel. Here's a dangerous mix-up I see all the time in grocery stores and even restaurants. People confuse king mackerel with Atlantic mackerel. They sound similar, but they couldn't be more different. King mackerel equals high in mercury, to be avoided by seniors. Atlantic mackerel equals low in mercury, rich in omega-3s, safe and beneficial. Always check the label. If it just says mackerel, ask where it comes from. If it's Atlantic mackerel, you're in the clear. If it's king, steer clear. A real story from my practice. I once worked with a patient, Margaret, 69, from North Carolina. She came to me concerned about forgetfulness, tremors in her right hand, and a general sense of fatigue. Her diet was excellent, or so we thought. Twice a week, she grilled thick fillets of king mackerel, convinced it was helping her memory and heart. We ran a mercury test. Her levels were 3 times higher than the recommended limit. We made one simple change. No more king mackerel. Instead, she switched to wild-caught salmon and sardines. Within 6 weeks, the tremors subsided, and her energy returned. Smart swaps for seniors. What to eat instead. You don't need to give up fish. In fact, many types are incredibly good for aging bodies. The key is to choose fish that are low in mercury, high in omega-3 fatty acids, easy to digest. Here are my top 3 alternatives. Avoid this, eat this instead. King mackerel, wild-caught Alaskan salmon. Sardines, canned in water or olive oil. Atlantic mackerel, not king. These fish are brain-boosting, heart-protective, easy to prepare, and widely available at major U.S. retailers like Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Costco, and most local supermarkets. Tips for buying safe fish in the U.S. Look for the label wild-caught rather than farm-raised. Choose fish caught in Alaska or the North Atlantic. Avoid Gulf-caught mackerel unless specifically labeled Atlantic. When in doubt, check the EPA FDA Mercury Guide for Fish. www.fda.gov/fish-advice. Final thought on king mackerel. Eat with intention, not assumption. King mackerel isn't dangerous because it's fish. It's dangerous because we assume it's healthy without asking the right questions. At this stage in life, food isn't just about taste. It's about clarity, strength, independence, and the joy of waking up sharp every morning. Every bite matters. Choose wisely. Coming up next, tilefish, the fish hiding in plain sight on restaurant menus, often disguised as catch of the day, but loaded with mercury. Don't miss it. 2. Tilefish, the fancy restaurant fish that could quietly harm your brain. A couple celebrates their 50th wedding anniversary at a nice restaurant in Tampa. The waiter recommends the chef's special, a light, flaky white fish grilled with lemon butter and herbs. It sounds elegant, easy on digestion, and of course, healthy. They order it without hesitation. After all, it's seafood. It must be good for the heart, right? What they didn't know is that they were eating tilapia fish with some of the highest mercury levels of any seafood on the market. And for adults over 60, that one celebratory dinner could contribute to months or years of cognitive decline. What makes tilefish so risky for seniors? Tilefish, especially those caught in the Gulf of Mexico, are considered one of the most mercury-contaminated fish species available in the U.S. Here's why. Tilefish are bottom-dwelling, long-living predators. They absorb mercury from both the water and their prey. Mercury accumulates in their flesh over time. When you eat them, you absorb that mercury directly into your bloodstream. For seniors, this is especially dangerous because the liver and kidneys slow down with age. The brain becomes more sensitive to toxins. Long-term exposure, even at low levels, can cause serious neurological issues. Symptoms of mercury exposure from fish like tilefish: memory problems, confusion or disorientation, tingling or numbness in hands and feet, difficulty balancing or walking, mood swings, anxiety, or depression. These are not just symptoms of aging. They're red flags, and too often, they're misattributed to just getting older. The hidden danger on menus: tilefish is often unlabeled. This is one of the most frustrating parts of my job as a doctor. Tilefish is often served under vague names like whitefish, catch of the day, mild grilled fish, chef's seafood special, which means you could be ordering tilefish without ever realizing it. A true story from the clinic. Margaret, 72, from Florida, came in complaining of brain fog and leg weakness. She'd fallen twice in the past 2 months, and her balance was getting worse. She had no major medical history. She walked daily. Her blood work looked decent. But when we discussed her diet, she casually mentioned going to a local seafood restaurant every Sunday after church and always ordering the grilled whitefish special. We contacted the restaurant. You guessed it, tilefish caught from the Gulf. We removed tilefish from her diet, started detox supportive nutrition, and within 6 weeks, her energy and coordination began to improve. What to eat instead? Safer whitefish options for older adults. If you enjoy mild, flaky whitefish, don't worry, you still have excellent options. Here are safe, mercury-smart alternatives. These options are low in mercury, easy to digest, delicious when baked, grilled, or steamed. They're also widely available at most American grocery chains like Kroger, Safeway, Publix, and Costco. Smart menu tips when dining out. Ask your server, what kind of white fish is this exactly? If they say tilefish or don't know, play it safe and order something else. Opt for salmon, trout, or cod when unsure. When possible, stick with fish that's wild caught from U.S. waters. Doctor's takeaway: you have the right to ask. It's okay to ask questions when ordering food. You're not being difficult, you're being wise. As we age, food is no longer just about flavor. It's about protection, prevention, and preserving the best years ahead. A small change like asking what fish you're being served could protect your memory, your balance, and your independence. Next up, swordfish, an upscale seafood choice with a heavy, toxic burden. It looks elegant, but it may carry long-term neurological risks, especially for seniors. Don't miss it. 3. Swordfish, the elegant meal that may be quietly harming your brain and heart. Picture this. It's your anniversary. You and your spouse are at a beautiful waterfront restaurant. The waiter smiles and says, "Tonight's special is grilled swordfish steak wild. Caught, thick cut, and absolutely delicious." It sounds perfect. It feels special. It even sounds healthy. And that's exactly why so many older adults choose swordfish on big occasions. But beneath its rich flavor and upscale reputation hides a dangerous health risk, especially for people over 60. The problem with swordfish: high mercury, long exposure. Swordfish are among the largest predatory fish in the ocean. They live long lives, 10 to 15 years, and they sit high on the food chain, eating smaller fish daily. All of this makes swordfish a mercury sponge. In fact, the FDA ranks swordfish as one of the highest mercury-containing fish in the U.S. seafood market. So when you eat swordfish, especially regularly, you're potentially introducing a large amount of mercury directly into your body. And as we've already covered, older adults are far more susceptible to mercury's effects. What mercury from swordfish can do to seniors? Mercury can accumulate in your brain, causing memory loss, cognitive issues, and mood swings. Nervous system, resulting in tremors, nerve pain, or difficulty with motor skills. Kidneys, overloading aging organs, already working hard to process medications and toxins. Cardiovascular system, increasing your risk of arrhythmia or worsening high blood pressure. What's particularly dangerous is that you can't cook mercury out of the fish. Whether swordfish is grilled, baked, or pan-seared, it still contains the same mercury levels. A story from my practice. A treat turned trouble. Joanne, 70, from California, treated herself to swordfish once a month. She loved the texture, the richness, and the sense of luxury it gave her. After a year of this routine, she began experiencing hand tremors, mental fog, short-term memory loss. She feared it might be early Alzheimer's, but blood tests told a different story. Elevated mercury levels almost double the EPA's safety threshold. We removed swordfish from her diet, added omega-3s from safer sources, and focused on detox-friendly nutrients. Within 3 months, her symptoms began to fade. It wasn't dementia, she said. It was dinner. What to eat instead? Rich, hearty fish without the risk. If you enjoy a firm, meaty fish like swordfish, you still have great alternatives that are senior safe. These fish offer excellent protein, brain-healthy omega-3s, lower risk of heavy metal exposure, easy prep methods, bake, pan-sear, grill, smart shopping tips for seniors. Buy fish labeled low mercury or check the FDA's Mercury in Fish Guide. Choose U.S. caught varieties when possible. Alaska, Pacific Northwest. Avoid imported swordfish or any fish labeled steak style without specifying the species. Doctor's advice. Luxury shouldn't cost you your health. Swordfish looks fancy on a plate, but no celebration is worth sacrificing your long-term brain function or balance. Aging gracefully doesn't mean giving up good food. It means making smarter swaps so you can enjoy life with energy, clarity, and confidence. Every bite should help you feel stronger, not weaker. And every choice you make at the table should support the life you still want to live. Next up, Biggie A tuna, also called ahi tuna. A sushi favorite that poses a double danger for seniors. High mercury and bacterial risk from eating it raw. You might want to think twice before ordering that spicy tuna roll. 4. Big Eye tuna, ahi tuna. A double danger for seniors, mercury and bacteria. Sushi night has become a favorite tradition for many older adults. It feels light, modern, and heart-healthy. You sit down with friends or grandkids, enjoy a colorful plate of sashimi, and you might even think to yourself, it's fish, it's raw. That has to be healthy, right? Not always. Especially when that beautiful red slice on your plate is Biggie A tuna, also known as ahi tunaon, of the highest mercury fish in the world. And when it's served rawas, it often is in sushi, brings an added risk that seniors can't afford to ignore: bacteria and parasites. Why Biggie tuna is dangerous for older adults. Big A tuna live long lives and swim deep in the ocean. Like swordfish, they sit high on the food chain and accumulate mercury from every smaller fish they eat. But the mercury risk is only half the problem. Ahi tuna is often eaten raw in sushi, poke bowls, or seared rare. And raw fish, no matter how fresh, can carry harmful bacteria like Listeria or Salmonella, parasites such as Anisakis, viruses like norovirus, For younger, healthy individuals, the immune system can typically fight these off. But for someone over 60, these pathogens can lead to serious infections, long recovery times, or even hospitalization. Seniors are more vulnerable to raw seafood. As you age, your immune system weakens. Your stomach produces less acid, which helps kill bacteria. Your body processes toxins more slowly. That means a piece of raw tuna that's fine for your 30-year-old grandson could leave you with a week-long illness, or worse. A real-life example: sushi and a hospital stay. Barbara, 68, loved sushi night with her daughters. Her go-to? Seared ahi tuna barely, cooked on the outside, raw in the center. One evening, after dinner at a local sushi restaurant, she began experiencing stomach cramps, chills, and fever. 2 days later, she was in the ER with listeria-induced gastroenteritis, a serious infection that's especially dangerous for seniors. What's more, her blood test showed elevated mercury levels as well, likely from years of eating high-mercury tuna. Barbara recovered, but now she tells every friend her age. Tuna's not worth it anymore. Not raw, not rare. I still love fish. I just eat smarter now. What to eat instead? Tuna done right for seniors. Tuna isn't off the table forever, but the type and preparation matter greatly. Here's how to enjoy tuna safely in your 60s and beyond. Skipjack tuna, found in most canned light tuna products, has much lower mercury levels and is widely available at Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Costco, any U.S. grocery store with canned goods. Smart tuna tips for seniors. Look for light tuna, not white tuna or albacore, which is higher in mercury. Limit tuna consumption to 2 servings per week for adults over 60. Always cook fish to 145 Fahrenheit to kill potential bacteria or parasites. Avoid sushi-grade or seared tuna, unless you're absolutely sure of the source and preparation. Doctor's advice: don't trade your health for a trend. Sushi is trendy, tuna is delicious. But at this stage in life, we're not eating for likes or trends, we're eating to protect our brain, our gut, and our independence. One small swap, like going from raw tuna to canned light tuna, can make a huge difference in your long-term well-being. You can still enjoy seafood. You just have to enjoy it with intention. Next up, farmed salmon, a popular grocery store favorite that may be loaded with antibiotics, PCBs, and artificial coloring. Discover why not all salmon is created equal and what type is actually safe. Number 5. Farmed salmon, when healthy, isn't so healthy anymore. At first glance, salmon seems like the perfect food: pink, flaky, packed with omega-3s, and often marketed as the gold standard for heart and brain health. And in many cases, that's true, but only if you're eating the right kind of salmon. Unfortunately, most of the salmon sold in U.S. grocery stores today is farmed salmon, and for seniors over 60, that difference could mean the difference between fighting inflammation or feeding it. The hidden risks of farmed salmon. Farmed salmon are raised in crowded underwater pens, often in countries like Chile, China, Vietnam, or other regions with minimal regulations on antibiotics and food quality. To keep these fish alive in tight quarters, producers commonly feed them low-quality pellets made from processed fish and grains, use antibiotics to prevent disease outbreaks, add chemical dyes, like synthetic astaxanthin, to give their gray flesh a healthy pink color. Sometimes expose them to PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, and other toxic industrial chemicals. These are the same PCBs that have been linked to hormone disruption, immune system problems, inflammation, certain types of cancer. Why farmed salmon can be a bigger threat for older adults. As we age, our immune systems weaken and our bodies become more sensitive to chronic inflammation. So what happens when a senior consumes farmed salmon regularly? Instead of receiving all the anti-inflammatory benefits of clean omega-3s, you may be getting pro-inflammatory fats, trace antibiotics that disrupt your gut health, chemical residues that strain your liver and kidneys, and long-term exposure to toxins that may worsen arthritis, heart disease, or memory problems. A story from the clinic, when healthy backfired. James, 70, from Oregon, made a commitment to eat healthier after his cholesterol ticked up. He swapped red meat for salmon and started eating it 3 times a week, always the affordable fillets from his local supermarket. 6 months later, he came to my office with worsening joint pain, fatigue, gut issues that hadn't improved with probiotics or dietary changes. When I asked about his salmon, he showed me the packaging. Farm-raised in Southeast Asia, labeled color added. We switched him to wild-caught Alaskan salmon just once a week and added other omega-3 sources like sardines and walnuts. Within 8 weeks, the inflammation markers in his blood dropped and his energy came back. Smart swaps, choosing salmon that heals, not harms. Not all salmon is bad. In fact, wild-caught salmon is one of the healthiest foods seniors can eat if you choose wisely. Wild-caught salmon has higher quality omega-3s, no artificial coloring, lower risk of toxins and antibiotic residues, comes from clean regulated US or Canadian waters. How to shop smart for salmon. Look for labels that say wild, caught, Alaska, or sockeye. Avoid labels with color added, Atlantic salmon. This almost always means farmed. No country of origin listed. You'll find wild salmon at Costco, frozen or canned wild sockeye, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, local fish markets in coastal states. Doctor's note, food marketing can fool you, your body won't. Farmed salmon often wears the disguise of health, pretty color, cheap price, and omega-3 on the label. But your joints, heart, brain, and immune system know the truth. In your 60s and beyond, every meal is either a healing step forward or a silent setback. Wild salmon may cost a few dollars more per pound, but the payoff is worth far more. Lower inflammation, sharper memory, better cholesterol, and less pain. Coming up next, the final fish on our list: imported catfish, a southern comfort food that may bring back warm memories. But if it's imported, it could also bring drug-resistant bacteria and banned antibiotics to your plate. 6. Imported catfish, a comfort food that may be hiding dangerous secrets. For many older Americans, especially in the South and Midwest, catfish isn't just dinner, it's tradition. Fried catfish on a Friday night, church potlucks, family fish fries out by the lake. Just the smell of it can bring back decades of memories. But here's something you may not know. If the catfish on your plate isn't raised in the United States, it may be carrying harmful bacteria, banned antibiotics, or toxic residues. And for seniors whose bodies are more vulnerable, this can spell real trouble. The truth about imported catfish. Today, a huge portion of catfish sold in American grocery stores and buffet-style restaurants is imported from Asia primarily. Vietnam, often labeled as basa or swai. China, Thailand. These fish are often raised in overcrowded, poorly regulated farms, given cheap, unclean feed, treated with antibiotics that are banned in the US, processed with chemicals to preserve color and texture. And while they may look identical to American-raised catfish, they can carry drug-resistant bacteria and residues that your immune system may struggle to handle. Why this is especially risky for older adults. As we age, our bodies digest food more slowly, have weakened immune defenses, recover from infections more slowly, are more likely to be on multiple medications, which makes interactions with antibiotics in food riskier. That means what might cause a mild stomachache in a 30-year-old could lead to severe gastrointestinal illness, hospitalization, or, in extreme cases, sepsis, a real-life case. When tradition turns harmful. Harold, 76, from Mississippi, had a family tradition. He fried catfish every Sunday, just like his father did. He started buying bulk frozen fillets labeled catfish from a discount grocery store. They were cheap, convenient, and reminded him of home. After a few months, he began experiencing repeated stomach issues. One episode led to dehydration and a hospital stay. Lab tests revealed a bacterial infection from food one resistant to several common antibiotics. After digging deeper, we discovered that his fish was imported basa from Vietnam, farmed under conditions that would violate U.S. food safety standards. He's fine now, but only after switching to U.S.-raised catfish and cooking it thoroughly every time. Safe, delicious catfish options still exist. You don't have to give up catfish. You just need to choose the kind that's raised under strict U.S. regulations. U.S.-farmed catfish is raised in clean, regulated ponds, fed a controlled diet, free from banned antibiotics, inspected by the USDA. How to know what you're buying. Look for packaging that says, "Product of the USA," or U.S. farm raised, USDA inspected. Raised in Alabama, Mississippi, or Arkansas, all have strong catfish farming standards. Avoid packages that say, "Product of Vietnam," "Product of China," or just imported. Basa, swai, or pangasius, these are not American catfish. Safe cooking tips for catfish. Always cook catfish to 145°F internal temperature. Avoid undercooked or raw preparations. When in doubt, bake, pan fry, or grill until firm and flaky. Doctor's takeaway. Comfort food shouldn't come with a health risk. Food is emotional. Catfish brings us back to simpler times, happy moments, and family traditions. But it's okay to update how we honor those traditions. You can still fry up a delicious batch of catfish, just make sure it's clean, safe, and raised here in the US. Because nothing about nostalgia is worth risking your health, independence, or immune system. Now that we've covered all 6 risky fish, let's wrap up with a powerful recap and some empowering next steps you can take to protect your health and continue aging with strength, clarity, and confidence. Final thoughts. Small choices, big impact, protecting your health, one bite at a time. Over the course of this guide, we've explored 6 types of fish that, while common in American kitchens and restaurants, can pose serious risks to those of us in our 60s, 70s, and beyond. Let's take one last look. Fish to avoid. Why they're risky for seniors. King mackerel, extremely high in mercury, can cause cognitive and nerve damage. Tilefish, Gulf cod, hidden under names like whitefish, but loaded with mercury. Swordfish elegant on the plate, dangerous for the brain and kidneys. Big eye, ahi tuna, raw, rare, mercury overload and bacterial risks when eaten raw. Farmed salmon, Asia, Chile may contain PCBs, antibiotics, and chemical coloring. Imported catfish, potentially contaminated with banned antibiotics and pathogens. What's the message here? It's not that you need to stop eating fish. It's that you need to eat fish wisely. Because after 60, your body is less equipped to handle toxins, slower to recover from illness, more vulnerable to long-term effects of foodborne exposures. So even if you feel healthy now, these small, seemingly harmless food choices can shape how you feel months or even years down the road. Your safer, smarter fish list. But Doc, I've been eating this fish for years. That may be true, and you may have tolerated it well before. But just like your medications, your food should change with your body. What worked at 40 doesn't always serve you at 70. You have the power to adapt. And in doing so, you're choosing years of sharper memory, better balance, and greater independence. A doctor's final words: aging is a privilege protected. You've spent your whole life giving to others, raising families, working hard, building community. Now it's time to care for yourself with the same dedication. The food on your plate isn't just fuel. It's medicine, it's protection, it's a tool for preserving the moments that matter most. A fish swap today could be the reason you remember your granddaughter's wedding, A smarter meal could mean one less fall, one more walk with friends, one more birthday to celebrate. Thank you for being here. If you found this guide helpful, please like the video, share it with someone you care about. Subscribe to Healthy Aging Bites for more content designed specifically for thriving after 60, because aging well doesn't happen by accident, it happens by choice. And you just made one of the best choices you can, choosing to be informed. Now it's your turn. Go check your fridge. Read the labels in your freezer. Ask your favorite restaurant what fish they serve. Swap one risky fish for a smarter one this week. It doesn't take much to make a big difference. And remember, you're not getting older, you're getting wiser. Stay strong, stay sharp, and stay with us on this journey to a longer, healthier life. Until next time, your friends at Healthy Aging Bites